2.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for listening to Money in Motion right here on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. Again, this is Jason Murphy with Diamond Financial Group. You can stop by and see us right there beside Poets on the Square on Broad Street anytime, but burr, is it cold out there. Man. It's been a cold couple of days. I hope you have stayed safe. I'm actually thankful for the little bit of a break in the school systems. Have all shut down, of course, this past Friday, and tomorrow we have Martin Luther King Day, and schools will still be out. At least I know White counties will be. I hope a lot of the other schools are out tomorrow, just to give people a break from all that close interconnectedness and to help people recover from all the sickness that's going out there. One of the guests that I've had on several times on this show, his name is Perry Hartman with Painter's Dream Productions, and Perry has gone through quite an ordeal over the last month. Since December 22nd, he was actually hospitalized at St. Thomas in Nashville after going to Cookville's emergency room. They shipped him off to St. Thomas for higher levels of care because of just some severe, what I think it was called acute pancreatitis, and fever and infection and all these things going on. He was in the ICU for 7 days, in the hospital for another 7 days, came home for about 2 days, and then went back in the hospital, back to Cookville, and then was sent off again to a different big hospital in Nashville, TriStar, I believe. And so it turns out he's got a big cyst that is attached to his pancreas that they didn't see the first time. And I'd say all that to say, would you please lift up Perry Hartman in your prayers? I just pray for God's healing touch over him, and hope that you will help support me in lifting up that prayer and coming in agreement that God is going to heal him, whether that's through medicine or doctors or whatever avenue God wants to use, or if he just reaches down and touches him and heals him. I do pray that in Jesus' name, and just hope that you will help support me in that. He's probably going to have medical bills anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. So we are putting together a benefit for him on January 26th. That's a week from this next Friday, January 26th, at the Praise and Restoration Center Church. That is down in Sparta. So we will try to get a Facebook page going. Please go to Money in Motion on Facebook to get more updates about that. But if you would come and support that, or if you want to throw any type of donation his way to help with medical bills, and of course he's been out of work for a month, and who knows how long that will continue until he's healthy enough to get back to work, and just ask that you would help support him. I didn't really even plan on talking about that. It's just one of the things that's on my heart. And as you all know that listen to me on a regular basis, I speak to what's on my heart. And so I pray for all of you that are suffering from these different flus. And I know I have friends with bronchitis and all these things that are going around. Just stay at home for a few days. Spend some quality time with your family in this cold weather. Stay off the roads and just recuperate and rest. And you know what? Open the Bible and get in the Word a little bit and pray with your family, and just spend some good quality time with your family around maybe a fireplace or whatever. Just to enjoy this time, make the most of it. So I'm all about enjoying the journey. And so I'm looking at a dear friend who is here with me for the next couple of segments, Miss Barbara Stebing. We have known each other going back, it's got to be at least 25 years, if not more, and kind of seen her family grow and multiply, and just be a blessing to many around them. Her husband, Mark, I consider him just an amazing guy and a little bit of a mentor, quite honestly, and just someone I look up to. He has been struggling with some sickness and, injury, I guess is a better word. What's been going on with Mark, Barbara?
Has a back injury. We've got a ruptured disc and a couple of protrusions. and heading for doctors in Nashville next week.
Okay.
So
Okay.
hope
Are
to
they
get that resolved?
are they saying the surgery word potentially?
Potentially,
Okay.
yes.
So not sure exactly what
No,
course of
we're
treatment,
not yet.
but he's been down and out for close to a month.
A month.
Yeah. So we lift up prayers for Mark as well, and so just so much going on. But Barbara Stebing, again, truly a dear friend, someone I would trust with my life. I don't feel that there's anything I couldn't talk to her about. She is one of the members of Highland Business Leaders. It is a business networking group where we take business professionals from different genres, and we all come together and support each other with our presence, with our prayers, and with some referrals, with some prospects, if you will, and just kind of support each other's businesses. And Barbara is the senior mortgage lender at First Volunteer Bank right there on Willow Avenue, down from the big shopping center. Was
On
that
Jackson.
Yeah, the Jackson Shopping Center right there. And so, but right there on Willow, First Volunteer Bank, stop by and see her. But we're going to ask her some questions and get into more about mortgage lending and what interest rates are doing, and maybe some ways that she can help you if you've maybe spent too much on Christmas and you need to get rid of some high interest rate kind of debt. It may be time to do a consolidation loan or a refinance on a home if you haven't done that already. I think interest rates are still definitely in the realm of way less than credit cards if you've fallen into that trap. So I encourage you greatly to attack your debt, to start investing for the future. I'll even share a little bit about Social Security in the next segment, because since we've last talked, I've actually had a few reruns that I do apologize for, but life has just been super busy with travel and holidays and getting back into the swing of things after that. So since I have last talked to you all, I have become a national certified Social Security advisor. So I can help people maximize their Social Security benefits and have some information about that does kind of tie into the whole topic of what we're talking about. So I hope that you stay warm out there. I hope that you take my advice and just spend some time at home with family, snuggling and maybe watching a Christmas movie that you recorded and never got a chance to watch. And I know a lot of people got DVDs and different things for Christmas. So just watch a movie, play a board game with your family, spend some quality time. But we're gonna be right back after a word from my sponsors. I'm grateful for them. You are listening to the amazing News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. Okay, good first segment. Yay, sorry, I didn't let you talk much. So I'm going to my stopwatch. Okay. So let's just go for it.
On pause.
No, it doesn't pause automatically. I just, he will cut out all this in the middle. So, in fact, even if we have little verbal pauses or I ask you a question and you have to think about a second, he fixes all of that before he actually airs the show. He's masterful and can put together a 30-minute show in about 3 minutes just going through. He can tell by the sound waves when it's something that you probably don't want to hear on the air. So he can tell right now that we're talking lower, and we've both sat back, and it adjusts the sound wave, and so he'll just chop that off, and so it's real easy. But the clock just keeps going at this point. The first segment's easy because it stops at 8 minutes, and then he'll cut all this out. So I can either wait for like the 10-minute mark, which is coming up in 35 seconds, or I can just use my stopwatch and we can start whenever. So, and that just helps me get to close to an 8-minute segment, which is what we're looking for, within 30 seconds to a minute. So he always gives me a little bit of leeway because Brent is awesome. Okay, so he'll see that. Good deal. Anything else personal you want to talk about, or just go into business kind of stuff? Okay, very good. Wake up, Brent. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Money in Motion right here on News Talk 1077 and 1400 The Hub. I'm Jason Murphy, your host, and I am from Diamond Financial Group right there beside Poets on the Square. Feel free to stop by and see me. If you ever have questions you want me to address on the air, feel free to send us an email at moneyin.motion@cfdinvestments.com. Again, that's moneyin.motion at cfdinvestments.com. If you can't stop by and see me, but you have a question for me, you can always call us at 646-4090. Again, that's 646-4090 right there at Diamond Financial Group. Of course, you can just Google Diamond Financial and find out where we're located, and would love to take a moment to talk to you, address any concerns you have. If you have questions about Medicare, if you have questions about Social Security, if you have questions about investing or your 401k, we can handle all those needs. But I also have a myriad of different professionals at my fingertips, like Miss Barbara Stebing from First Volunteer Bank, who is my go-to choice for mortgage lending. I can tell you that I personally have redone my mortgage, and it's been a couple of years ago with Barbara, and the process was amazing. I've also recommended to her some other people. One specifically was trying to do a mortgage through that online company that I'm not going to talk about, but they do a lot of advertising, which should tell you that they are making a lot of money if they're spending a lot of money on advertising and trying to get you to come to them. But again, I won't mention any names, but I do want you to realize that you can go to a professional. You'll actually, in my opinion, end up spending often less money than the big outfits that have all the advertising and that kind of thing. And Barbara is going to give you the personal attention to detail that I believe that you would want to have. And so, Barbara, go ahead and tell us, just kind of walk us through the process of mortgage lending and what you do when you have someone come and talk to you for the first time.
All right. I do loans that can be either a purchase or refinance loans. I can do them on primary residence. I can also do them on investment properties, single family up through a duplex or a fourplex. And basically for most loans, you need about the same documentation. You're going to need last 2 years of tax returns and W-2s. You're going to need most recent pay stubs, a couple months of bank statements. And basically that's about it for all of the different loans. One nice thing about working with me here locally is I'm here to handle your paperwork. When you're working with a company that's online, couple of things. You're going to have to scan everything and upload it into their system. You could end up getting an appraiser that's out of Nashville that doesn't know the market, and you end up with a very poor quality appraisal because they don't know this market, don't have access to the sales that have occurred recently. And I can just offer you that personal attention where, you know, you can bring in your documents. I can get quite a few of them myself if you happen to bank with us, and I can just scan and handle everything for you. And generally, I can get you a better rate than most of the online companies.
Okay, right.
So we handle a tremendous volume of loans. We've got 24 different branches with our bank, and we basically can give you a good rate due to volume. And so that's a big help. Another thing that, like Jason mentioned earlier about, you know, if you have gotten yourself in over your head on the credit cards, or you're struggling that all you're making is the minimums month after month after month and the balances aren't going down, most credit cards are designed to keep you in debt for 30 years. Wow. They want your interest. And they are difficult to get out of once you get that balance up very high. And if you already own a home, it's a wonderful asset to be able to draw on. You can refinance up to an 80% of the value of your home, and sometimes get yourself out of, problems that you've gotten into with credit cards, or too many car loans, or you've signed too many student loans for children, or whatever. With a cash out loan up to 80%, there's no restrictions as to what you have to pay off,
Okay.
other than your original mortgage. So that sometimes can get you back to where your debt ratios are in line. You're actually making ends meet, and you can actually move forward to putting some money away for yourself,
Right.
which is always a good thing. And you can take that debt back out over 30 years if need be, or you can do anything in between 10 to 30 years.
Right, right.
Whatever your needs are and your comfort to get your debt ratios back in line. I also do quite a few refinances for people that are getting close to retirement, and then they realize once that retirement income is going to be cut substantially that they're going to need a lower debt. They'll roll cars and student loans and credit cards and whatever back into that house payment, so that then once they do retire in a year or two, that house payment and all of their other debts is manageable.
Okay. And so how are interest rates right now? I know the Fed
They're
has
still good. Yeah.
has raised the rates a little bit, but still, sub 4%.
Anything under the 30 years, yes, is still down in the threes,
Okay.
upper 300s, 3%, excuse me. 4 to 4.25 on a 30-year.
Okay.
Depending on, now this would all be on a primary residence.
Right. Right.
Depending on credit scores.
Right.
Loan amounts.
Yeah, of course, there's always lots of different factors, and that's why you can call out or drop by and see Miss Barbara Stebing at First Volunteer Bank, again, right there on Willow Avenue, down from the Jackson Plaza. And just inquire. If you just have a few questions, if you want to inquire about what does my credit score need to be, and where is it, and where would I fall? You can ask her questions and sit down and talk with her. And it doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of time to see if it would even be feasible. And she's going to be honest with you. That's one of the things I love about Barbara Stebing, is she is an amazing Christian woman. She wears her Jesus on her sleeve, and I love that she is just going to be straight and honest and upfront with you, and not try to sell you on something that's she thinks might just be better for her or for the bank. It is really about you. So we're going to talk to her some more and ask some more questions right after a word from our sponsors. You have been listening to News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub, right here on Money in Motion.
It's hot in here with that door.
It is warm, yeah. But I'll tell you, I got chilled, and I'm just taking a little bit of a break to let my mind relax. The first year we were married, we bought a ball root Christmas tree and planted it. That tree is now like 16 feet tall, and it's amazing.
You've got one to live, huh?
Yes. 5 years later, did the same thing. That tree is still living. So it's now 5 years old. And so now this is our 10th Christmas together that we just celebrated. Excuse me. And so we had another ball root. Well, after Christmas, there was this deep freeze. The ground was solid, frozen solid. I didn't even want to try to go out there, but we hadn't moved the tree out to the garage to let it start acclimating. But then, so this morning, my wife doesn't even know. She had to go and deliver something to Mount Juliet with a sister, and is on her way back right now. And so I surprised her by going ahead and getting, before this freeze comes again. The ground is pretty soft right now because of all the rain we've had, and the hard freeze hasn't come in. Right, it warmed up for not long enough. So I got that tree planted, but I bet you that tree, I bet you it weighed 250 pounds. And I had to drag this thing from our garage all the way in front of the house, all the way to the side of the house, over to where I was planting it. So I did that this morning, and it was still cold. But so I had gloves
You
on.
need
but,
to invest in a two-wheeler and roll them.
Yeah, and I just didn't have one. And
This is what blew Mark's back out, was pulling and tugging
really,
a couple of fence posts where a semi backed over him at work trying to
Okay.
get down to load.
right.
And he was stuck with these fence posts
Okay.
underneath the truck. So Mark pulled them out by hand. And that's what
Right.
did his back.
Right. Now, was that a long time ago? And he said,
About a month ago.
He was doing that a month ago. He knew he already had back issues. Is workman's comp covering?
No, they've changed workman's comp so much that when the HR lady sent us over there, and he said, "I'm not even gonna see you. You've been in my office before. You have a history of back issues. This isn't workman's comp. Goodbye."
He was at work, doing work for work. And
Tennessee has changed workman's comp so much.
Really?
That, yeah, unless you get caught in a machine or something, you might as well forget it, because they aren't going to cover anything.
Gotcha. Remind me where he's at now. Which
He's at Fixture World.
Fixture World? Yeah, he was at FlowServe for like ever, right?
Yeah, I was there
And-
for about 6 years.
Yeah, for so a long time. Yeah, a pretty long time. So I still have that in my head, even though I knew he's moved, but I can't ever remember Fixture World.
Of course, it's been good. I mean, he's continued to pay him, but he's already listed his job online.
Oh, has he?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
the business has, without conversing with Mark?
Yeah.
But Mark has just seen it out there online and realizes
Somebody at work saw it
and let him
sent
know.
it to him.
But he is still paying him for right now.
Yeah, for now.
Okay. Was he ready to retire?
Nick.
Do we need to talk monies, dollars and cents? How old is Mark?
He'll be 65 March 27th.
Okay.
So we got to get him signed up for Medicare for sure.
Yeah.
But
You need to make sure and see Michael Townsley at our office. He's 24-year Medicare specialist, good Christian man. We're doing a men's ministry right now called Fight Club. There's right now 66 men throughout the Upper Cumberland that are going through this men's ministry to just become better men of God. And so Mike is on my team, but I can vouch for him in every aspect. He knows what he's talking about with Medicare, and that's who I would recommend that you guys sit down and talk to. And
well, we sat through a 3-hour Medicare seminar that was put on by Farm Bureau.
oh, okay.
And they're not allowed to sell you anything
Right.
during the seminar and all
Right.
that. But it was informative, but you walk out of there kind of...
Well, we're about to do,
Right.
it's not a seminar. We're actually through and I can probably talk about this on the air a little bit, but through a nonprofit organization, I'm the chapter president of AFIA, the American Financial Educational Alliance. And so me and Mike Townsley are about to start doing educational events at public places, not like at a restaurant and making you a meal and all that. This is like at the public library, and purely educational through a 501c3. So the end of February, we're going to be doing another Medicare and Social Security on different nights. We're going to do 4 events, Medicare, Social Security, then Social Security, then Medicare. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the way it fell. But we'll have a Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Tuesday, Thursday doing those 2 events, those 4 events on those 2 topics. So I'll try to invite and make sure you guys know about that, and just come and even if it's some repetition, which I imagine it would be.
It would still be good.
It's right. There's a lot to Medicare, and you can get to know Mike Townsley a little bit through that process. So we're good. My phone keeps ringing, and so I need to.
Then you
guess-
can't see your timer.
Right. So I need to just ignore it, so I can get back to my timer.
I need one of those.
Glad we weren't recording right then. That would have been awkward. Okay,
Excuse me.
here we go. Wake up, Brent. Okay, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Money in Motion. I'm your host, Jason Murphy from Diamond Financial Group, right there beside Poets on the Square. And I appreciate you calling. You're not calling in, but I appreciate you listening in. And I tell you what, we're just going to do that again, Brent. Disregard. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Money in Motion. I'm your host, Jason Murphy, right here on News Talk 1077 and 1400 The Hub. And I am from Diamond Financial Group. Feel free to stop by and see me right there beside Poets on the Square if you have any questions at all. And I hope that you're just staying warm and spending some quality time with your family today and tomorrow if you're able to take Martin Luther King Day off. And I wish I had a quote or something from him, but man, what an amazing man and everything that he did for our country and getting rid of some of the issues, although it seems like some of those issues have raised their ugly head again in the past couple of years, and I pray our country is just starting to move past some of those things. But enough on that topic. We have been talking to my good friend Barbara Stebing from First Volunteer Bank. She is a mortgage lender, a professional, and someone that can help you if you're having some issues where you need to maybe refinance or you're wanting to buy a new home. If you're maybe interested in buying some rental type properties, she can help you with the mortgages for any of those type projects. And that is a really good way to diversify your portfolio, is to have some rental properties. So I would encourage you to have that as a part of your retirement portfolio if you haven't considered that in the past. The point is, when it comes to finance, make sure that you are giving yourselves opportunities to buy assets. And by an asset, what I'm talking about is things, products, services that will increase in value and not go down in value. Those things are called liabilities. And so if you spend all of your money throughout your life on liabilities like vehicles and TVs and toys and motorcycles, ATVs. I mean, there's a place for some of those things at some times, but it's too many people spend too much of their money. They never invest any, and they spend all their money on toys that end up being worthless at some point in their future. So would really encourage you to stop by, see Barbara Stebing. And so what else can you, and I don't know if you fully answered my question earlier. You talked a lot about what you do and how you can help people, but I want you for a second to imagine that person coming and sitting down with you for the first time and talk our listeners through the process that you go through. I mean, do you sit down and just ask them a bunch of questions to begin with? Do you just ask for a bunch of documents to begin with? What's that process to kind of see where they're at and where they want to go, and how do you walk them through that?
Okay. Basically, it depends on what their needs are. If you are a first-time home buyer.
Yeah, and let's go with a first-time home buyer and or that person that's refinancing, but that one of those two type scenarios, which is probably your most common, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just kind of walk through that.
For the first-time home buyer, just to sit down or even do it over the phone if they can't come in, and just ask some questions about job history. Do they have credit established? If not, do I have a way of establishing a different type of credit for them through rent and utility payments and things such as that? And then find out what their needs are as far as, do they have a down payment saved up? Are they looking for 100% loan? Things like that. And then that way I can guide them into what type of product is going to work for them, or if they aren't at the point where they can buy right now, talk them through what they need to do to get to that point.
Okay.
If they have credit started but they haven't had enough, or if they've just started a job but they don't have a 2-year work history, or don't have college background that you can count as work history, things like that, then I can prepare people and let them know, hey, 6 months down the road, if we do this, this, and this, you're going to be ready at that point.
Gotcha. Okay,
to buy
so you
that
can
first
help
one.
guide them even if they end up not being ready immediately.
Yes.
You can help them, educate them on the
Yes.
steps they need to take to get to where they can afford that mortgage and move in the right direction of home ownership.
Yes, definitely. And I can go over the numbers with them as far as looking at their income to let them know approximate house payments and what they would qualify for, and find out what their comfort levels are. A lot of times people will qualify for considerably more than they feel like they want to pay comfortably every month. And a lot of that's going to depend on each family's situation. You know, do they have little children with child care needs and things like that that are going to take additional money every month? They may not be willing to go with that higher house payment.
Right.
Because they know they have other obligations.
Yes.
So just help people through that decision process, or the process of getting them to the point where they can purchase in the future.
Okay. Okay, well, that sounds great. Well, Barbara, I want to thank you for coming out and talking with our guests and educating them a little bit. I want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you. So if they want to just call out to the bank to talk to you, I know they can stop by, and we've said that multiple times where you're located, but how could they just give you a call?
My desk is 931-646-5519, or on my cell phone, 931-510-0052. And I'll be happy to answer either way.
Okay.
And
So, and I'm sure you could Google First Volunteer Bank and just call the bank to get to Barbara Stebing there at First Volunteer, and we will give her number again here in just a minute when we're getting ready to close out this segment. So if you want her numbers again, get ready. Find a pen and a paper to write down her information, and when we have just the last few seconds, I'll have her repeat that information once again. So in the meantime, though, I just want to remind you all to lift up all these different people that are suffering with sickness and illness and injury. Mark Stebing and Perry Hartman. I want to remind you that on January 26th, we are going to have a benefit at Praise and Restoration Center down in Sparta. So we're going to have some amazing live bands, Christian gospel-type bands performing some amazing music, and we'll have a meal and just ask people to come out and donate what they can to support Perry Hartman and to try to help him through all these medical bills of what he's going through. So it's amazing how fast a minute goes, but we're already there. So if you're ready to write down that phone number, I'm going to go ahead and have Barbara repeat both of those numbers again. Go ahead, ma'am.
my desk is 931-646-5519, or my cell phone is 931-510-0052.
0052. Excellent. So appreciate everyone listening so much. I hope you're staying warm and spending some quality time with your family. I do pray God's blessings over each and every one of you. I just truly pray that you are living and walking in His will in your life, that you are seeking His face daily, and that you are opening His Word to find out His direction for your life. So I appreciate everybody so much. God bless, and stay warm. Thank you for listening to News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub right here on Money in Motion.